Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm coming from Team Shadow Strike, and this is going to be a deck profile update on my Prominence Glare deck. There's been a couple changes to the deck, so I will get into why I changed it and all that. So anyway, let's jump straight into this deck. So for the starting Vanguard, that hasn't changed. I'm still using Flaming Passion Liberator Guido. Basically shove him in the soul when you're in Legion and look at the top 3, Spirit Call 1, and then shuffle your deck. Contemplating putting in a second, but I just didn't really have the room to cut anything, and I just, this deck for me, it's more of a, I've played it in a tournament before, but it's not, the deck that I would want to play if I go to a major event, but it's definitely, you know, in consideration, to be honest, because I do like this deck a lot, but I just don't see the point of playing a second one, even though it is a good option. I'm not denying that. I don't like cutting too many of my grade 1s. I like my boosters. That's just how I like to play. So, one Guido, you can play a second. You can cut a Bruno or a Josephus if you'd like for another one. And then for triggers, I play 4 and 8 crit total. So, I've seen the 12 crit version, and I honestly thought about going to 12 crit, you know, just for the hell of it, but, you know, I see, you know, both good things and bad things with 12 crit decks. I think 12 crit decks can fall to be a little, linear, because they don't have another option, you know, instead of pushing criticals, and if I know that all you're trying to do is just crit sack me, you know, that gives me an advantage. So I'm really not a big fan of 12 crit decks, even though they are what they are. You know, I just prefer the 8, and plus since Glare carries an extra crit anyway, I think 8 crit is scary enough, and I think that is you know, going to be enough to get you your point across to where you're going to be able to push in for that 2 to 3 damage that'll win you the game. You know, with that glory skill, you're going to have a Bruno and make a big column for 30 plus, and just, you know, your opponent is just going to have to sit there and either take it or try and manually guard it. And either way, it's not easy. So, now, the one change is for Ketchko Liberator. Now, this was a suggestion made to me in the comment section, which I felt that was done, you know, very poorly and rude. I'm okay with suggestions, guys, just so long as they're, you know, the comment was something along the lines of, well, you're not playing Ketchko, so I just stopped watching. And you know what, that's fine. You know, it really doesn't do me any, you know, service by you telling me that, so I kind of thought that was pointless. I like draw power, guys, so I tend to try and put draw triggers in everything I play. I immediately just went for the draw triggers and didn't even consider Ketchko. And then there was another person in the comment section below. In fact, I'm going to look them up real quick because they suggested it very nicely. And I'm going to look it up and I'm going to give them a shout out. So give me a second here. Scrolling here. Let's see. Hang on, I'm still looking, guys. Kaiser Gray RS. It's someone who has always it is a good card that I finally tried it out myself. But part of me still misses the draw triggers, guys. I mean, so you know, it's possible, you know, if I were to take this to a tournament, you know, for locals, I might even try, you know, Rainbow. You know, but I do see why Ketchko is needed in the deck, because there aren't enough opportunities to shuffle in the deck, you know, because the only cards that shuffle this deck are Guido and the Glare Mate. So by having this, it gives you another way to shuffle the deck so all your triggers don't wind up on the bottom, because that is a major problem. So, Kaiser Gray RS, thank you for kindly suggesting this and explaining to me why this card works, because now, of course, this is from a video a long time ago, guys, I know, but this deck profile update is long overdue, but I've been playing with Ketchkel for a while now, and I do see why it is needed. Also, it's pretty funny in the Witch match when your opponent makes you reveal the top 10 cards of your deck, and you can reveal 2 of these, and then basically put them right back and call whatever you want. So, Ketchkel is good, guys. So, if you aren't playing Ketchkel in your Liberator deck, I highly suggest you try it. But if you like draw triggers, trust me, I understand. I love draw triggers, and I wish that you could play 20 triggers so you could play 4 draws in this deck, but you do have a card that does help you out with that, and that's why also that I just don't have the room to put in another Guido. So, 4 stands. And then we've got, of course, our standard 4 heal trigger, because you need heal triggers in any deck you play. So, grade 1s. 4 light formation Liberator Eardray. Eardray, what it does is it's just a perfect card. I honestly don't think Quintet Walls belong in this deck. You counterblast way too much. You can, if you want, I would recommend no more than 1 Quintet, but honestly, since you counterblast so much in this deck, I don't think it's a good option. Now, if you play 1 Quintet and it works for you, then, don't change it on my account, but that's just an observation, because I know this deck counterblasts quite heavily and really fast. So, with your 1 Aglavel, your Glare, and, your Counterblast just kind of disappear really quickly. But if you do want to play a Quintet Wall, I would recommend no more than 1. So, 4, Bruno. This grade 1 is, essentially is what creates your columns to make them as big as possible. Bruno, obviously, you're going to want to stick it behind Glare and just continually soul charge, make him as big as possible, so it's harder and harder for your opponent to guard in the late stages of the game. But this is also going to be a target for your opponent if they're playing something that lets them destroy units, because they are going to kill this very quickly, because they do not want you to have to, they don't want you to be able to supercharge your columns and make them harder for them to deal with. And then we also play 4 Fast Chase Liberator Josephus. This card kind of serves as the draw trigger of the deck, since we don't have room for them. But it also serves as a good solid 7k boost, so it does do that, but he makes up for not having draws in the deck, so that's why it can be, it's okay that you don't play draws, is because you do play Josephus's, and that kind of offsets the draws, and you search and thin your deck out so quick, so, I know the deck doesn't need draws because of all the searchability the deck has, but I just really like draw triggers, guys, because I like hand advantage. And then for the last grade 1s, I still play 2 Marins. I test played Zoran, guys. I don't like Zoran. You know, real easy to kick off. You just need to be in Legion and then have, you know, one of these 7 cards in your hand to discard. And then his other skill is you can counterblast 1, sack off a rear guard, look at the top 4, superior call 1, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order, and you can only use that skill once per turn. So, the great, you know, Prominence Glare obviously is the finisher to this deck. You know, he's obviously the boss, you know, but, you just, Prominence Glare, you just have to be very careful. You don't want to, what's really good about this deck is you can rush early, and it really doesn't affect you that much, you know, because you can build field pretty quickly, just through all your skills and your superior calls and all that. You just don't want to counterblast too much too quick, because when this deck runs out of counterblast, it just kind of falls flat, because then all Glare is just a 20 swinging vanilla Legion. So you need to pick your spots with the skill. Don't just use the skill just because it's doable. You want to try and get your opponent to that 3 damage mark if possible. That way, if you do swing and if you do swing and your opponent says no guard, and they're at 3 damage, if you rip 1 more crit, that gives you the 3 damage that they need to lose, so it can then force them to have to pull that death heal or a heal trigger to stay in the game. So just be aware of it, you know. But this deck is by far, in my opinion, it's one of the top 4 decks in the meta right now. So it is going to still be a threat, and will probably pop up at the ARG this Sunday at Fort Worth. So anyway, guys, that is my updated version of Prominence Glare. So I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. So in the comment section below, make sure you leave your comments below. Tell me what you think of the deck. Tell me what you like about the deck. If you have any more questions about the deck, feel free to leave any question below, and I'll be happy to answer it for you guys. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and I will see you next time.